Consistency is the bridge between the dreams you have and the reality you want to create. It's easy to get inspired, to feel motivated in the moment, but motivation can be fleeting. What will truly carry you forward in life is your ability to show up day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. Consistency is the quiet, unseen force that shapes greatness, success, and fulfillment. But make no mistake, consistency isn't always easy. It often requires effort, sacrifice, and above all, discipline. Let's explore the power of consistency and why it's worth forcing yourself to remain steadfast in pursuit of your goals. The power of routine is one of the most underappreciated tools in achieving success and fulfillment. Routine provides a framework for your life, creating stability and order in a world filled with unpredictability. Establishing a routine allows you to direct your energy more efficiently, focusing on the things that truly matter without being weighed down by decision fatigue. When you structure your day with purposeful routines, you no longer waste precious time deciding when or how to start an activity because the choice has already been made for you. It becomes automatic, a natural flow that eliminates the constant need to motivate yourself from scratch each day. A well-crafted routine simplifies life in the best way possible. It helps you prioritize what's important, preventing distractions from taking over your day. When you develop a routine that aligns with your values and goals, you create a consistent practice of investing in the areas of life that matter most to you. Whether it's dedicating time to personal growth, fitness, creative projects, or self-care, having a routine ensures these things are not left to chance or the whims of your mood. They become ingrained daily habits that move you closer to your goals, step by step. Routine also brings with it a sense of control. No matter what chaos may be happening around you, the structure of your routine gives you something solid to lean on. It provides a sense of purpose and direction in the midst of uncertainty. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the countless choices you could make in a day, a routine simplifies those decisions. You know what needs to be done and when, allowing you to remain focused and centered. Consistency is often tied to the establishment of a routine. When you show up every day for the same practice, whether it's working on a skill, pursuing a goal, or simply taking time to reflect, you build momentum. Over time, this momentum compounds, leading to exponential growth. The beauty of routine is that it removes the need for willpower or motivation in the moment, because you've already committed to the process. It's a powerful tool for those who want to achieve long-term success because it transforms big, intimidating tasks into small, manageable actions that become part of your daily life. Routine also fosters discipline, which is crucial when working toward any significant goal. By adhering to a routine, you train yourself to follow through even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the ability to keep going regardless of external circumstances, and routine is what nurtures that discipline. It takes away the emotional weight of decision-making and replaces it with consistency. You don't have to convince yourself to act each day because your routine takes care of that for you. There's also a psychological benefit to routine. Knowing what to expect from your day creates a sense of comfort and security. In a world where so much is uncertain, routine provides a predictable structure that calms the mind. This reduces stress and anxiety, allowing you to be more present and focused on your tasks. When you don't have to constantly adapt to a new plan, you're able to conserve mental energy and direct it toward more meaningful pursuits. True routine is like an anchor, grounding you and giving you the mental space to think creatively and act purposefully. Another advantage of routine is the ability to measure progress. When your days are structured, it's easier to track how much time you're devoting to important tasks and whether or not you're moving forward. Without routine, it's easy for days, weeks, or even months to slip by without making significant progress toward your goals. But when you establish a daily routine, you can look back and see the tangible steps you've taken toward your desired outcomes. This sense of accomplishment is both motivating and affirming, pushing you to continue on your path with confidence. The repetition of a routine also ingrains good habits into your lifestyle. Repeated actions become automatic behaviors, requiring less conscious effort over time. This is why routines are so effective at helping people develop habits that contribute to their success. Whether it's practicing gratitude each morning, exercising regularly, or dedicating an hour to learning a new skill, routines create the space for these positive habits to become permanent parts of your life. You're not relying on fleeting bursts of inspiration to drive your actions. Instead, you've created a system that makes positive behavior a natural part of your daily existence. Routines are also highly adaptable. You can always adjust them to suit the different seasons of your life or as your goals evolve. The key is to be intentional about what you include in your routine, ensuring that it serves your larger purpose. Even small changes in your routine can make a significant difference over time. It's about finding a rhythm that supports your well-being, growth, and aspirations and sticking to it. The consistency you build through routine not only moves you closer to your goals, but also enhances your overall quality of life. Moreover, routines allow you to set boundaries. By committing to certain activities at specific times each day, you prevent others from infringing on that time. You protect your priorities, ensuring that distractions, interruptions, or even the demands of others do not pull you away from what you've set out to achieve. This boundary setting is crucial for maintaining focus and productivity, especially in a world where constant distractions can easily derail your plans. Ultimately, routine is one of the most powerful tools for creating a life of purpose and intention. It doesn't just happen by chance, it's something you build with thoughtfulness and commitment. By embracing routine, you give yourself the opportunity to create lasting change, not through dramatic efforts, but through steady, consistent action over time. Discipline over motivation is a concept that, once embraced, can transform the way you approach every aspect of your life. Motivation is a fleeting emotion. It's that spark of excitement or drive that pushes you to start something new, whether it's beginning a workout regimen, pursuing a passion project, or learning a new skill. But motivation has one critical flaw: it doesn't last. It's easy to feel motivated when everything is fresh and new, when the excitement of beginning something outweighs the challenge of staying consistent. But inevitably, motivation fades. It diminishes when the initial excitement wears off, when obstacles appear, or when the effort required becomes more significant than you anticipated. That's when discipline steps in. Discipline is the force that keeps you going when motivation has long disappeared. It's the quiet, steady resolve that says, even when I don't feel like it, I will show up. It's waking up early to work out on days when your body feels tired, or sticking to a plan when it would be easier to give in to distractions. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, not because you want to, but because you are committed to the result. It's built on the foundation of consistency and routine, and it doesn't rely on how you feel in the moment. While motivation might get you started, discipline is what ensures you finish. Choosing discipline over motivation is recognizing that success in any endeavor is not about the occasional bursts of energy or inspiration. It's about showing up day in and day out, even on the hard days, even when the rewards seem distant. Discipline trains your mind to focus on the bigger picture. It helps you look beyond the temporary discomfort or inconvenience and keeps your eyes on the ultimate goal. In a world where instant gratification is often prioritized, discipline asks you to embrace delayed gratification. It requires you to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term achievement, and it's through discipline that true growth and progress are made. Discipline is a habit, not an innate quality. No one is born disciplined. It's something you cultivate through daily actions. And the beauty of discipline is that the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you choose discipline over laziness, over procrastination, over distractions, you reinforce your ability to persevere. It's like a muscle that strengthens with use. The more disciplined you become, the less you rely on fleeting motivation to get things done. Your actions are driven by your commitment to your goals, not by how you feel in any given moment. The shift from relying on motivation to embracing discipline transforms the way you approach challenges. When you are disciplined, challenges no longer become reasons to quit, they become opportunities to prove your resolve. You understand that setbacks are part of the journey, and instead of waiting for motivation to return, you push through the discomfort with the knowledge that perseverance will lead to progress. Discipline doesn't promise that the journey will be easy, but it does promise that it will be worth it. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your commitment to yourself and your goals. In many ways, discipline is a form of self-respect. It's an acknowledgement that your goals, dreams, and aspirations are worth the effort, even when that effort is difficult or uncomfortable. When you choose discipline, you are choosing to honor your commitments to yourself. You are saying, I am worth the work, the effort, and the sacrifice, and over time, this self-respect builds confidence. The more disciplined you are, the more you believe in your ability to achieve your goals because you've proven to yourself time and time again that you can keep going, even when it's hard. Another crucial aspect of discipline is that it creates freedom. While it may seem counterintuitive, the more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have. When you are disciplined in your habits, whether it's managing your time, maintaining your health, or pursuing your goals, you create a structure that allows for greater flexibility. You free yourself from the chaos of unpredictability, from the stress of last-minute decisions, and from the frustration of missed opportunities. Discipline gives you control over your life, allowing you to allocate your time and energy in ways that align with your priorities. It creates a sense of balance and stability that is crucial for long-term success. Discipline also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when things don't go as planned, when obstacles arise that threaten to derail your progress. In these moments, it's discipline that keeps you grounded. It's the inner strength that allows you to adapt to setbacks without losing sight of your goals. Discipline teaches you to embrace discomfort, to endure hardship, and to persist through challenges. It builds the mental toughness necessary to navigate the ups and downs of life without losing momentum. And the more disciplined you become, the more resilient you are in the face of adversity. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is that it can be applied to every area of your life. Whether it's your career, your relationships, your health, or your personal growth, discipline is the key to consistent progress. It allows you to set clear goals and work toward them with intention, rather than leaving things to chance. Discipline helps you build habits that support your overall well-being and success. It's the foundation for achieving excellence in anything you pursue, because it ensures that you are taking action even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. In a culture that often glorifies motivation and inspiration, it's easy to forget that the true path to success is paved with discipline. Inspiration can be a great starting point, but it's discipline that will carry you through the journey. It's discipline that will help you overcome obstacles, maintain focus, and ultimately reach your goals. While motivation may come and go, discipline remains steady. It's a commitment to yourself, a promise that you will show up, do the work, and stay the course, no matter what. Discipline over motivation is about taking control of your life and your destiny. It's about choosing to be proactive rather than reactive, to take consistent action rather than waiting for the perfect moment. Discipline empowers you to create the life you want, not through grand gestures or bursts of energy, but through small, consistent actions that build over time. It's about understanding that success is not about being perfect or always feeling motivated. It's about showing up and doing the work day after day, even when it's hard. Ultimately, discipline is about building the life you want, not through chance or luck, but through deliberate and consistent effort. It's the foundation of all lasting success and personal fulfillment. When you choose discipline over motivation, you are choosing to take ownership of your future, to take control of your habits, and to pursue your goals with unwavering commitment. Small daily habits are often underestimated in their power to transform your life, but they are the key to achieving big, lasting results over time. It's easy to overlook the significance of tiny actions because they don't seem to offer immediate rewards. We live in a culture that values instant gratification, where the desire for overnight success dominates our mindset. However, real, sustainable progress is built on the foundation of consistent, small actions that, over time, compound into significant achievements. Each small habit may seem insignificant on its own, but when practiced daily, these habits create momentum, leading to remarkable growth and success in the long term. The beauty of small daily habits lies in their simplicity. These habits don't require massive effort or drastic life changes. They are easily manageable, and because of that, they are sustainable. When you focus on making tiny improvements every day, you're setting yourself up for gradual, consistent growth. For instance, reading just 10 pages of a book daily might not seem like a big deal, but over the course of a year, that adds up to over 3,600 pages, or about 10 to 12 books. Similarly, Doing a small amount of exercise every day, whether it's just a 10-minute walk or a quick workout, may not seem like it will make much difference, but over time, the cumulative effect of that daily movement will improve your fitness, energy levels, and overall well-being. Small habits are also more manageable and less intimidating than trying to make dramatic, sweeping changes all at once. When people try to overhaul their lives overnight, they often burn out or give up when things get hard. Large goals can seem overwhelming, which is why so many people struggle to maintain their motivation after the initial excitement wears off. But small habits make change feel attainable. They allow you to focus on one step at a time without feeling overwhelmed by the enormity of the overall goal. This consistency in small actions fosters a sense of accomplishment which motivates you to keep going. Another reason small daily habits are so powerful is that they build discipline and routine. When you commit to doing something small every day, you are training your mind to prioritize consistency over perfection. This discipline extends to other areas of your life as well. For example, if you set a habit of waking up 15 minutes earlier each day, that small act of discipline can spill over into how you approach your work, your relationships, and even your health. The daily practice of showing up for yourself, even in small ways, reinforces a mindset of self-accountability and responsibility. Over time, this consistent practice becomes second nature, creating a new normal for how you live your life. Small daily habits also lead to big results because of the principle of compounding. Just as small amounts of money invested wisely can grow exponentially over time due to compound interest, small actions can accumulate and result in profound change. This compounding effect is not always obvious at first, which is why many people give up on their goals prematurely. But over time, the benefits of your daily habits begin to stack up. For example, practicing a new skill for just 20 minutes a day might not make you an expert overnight, but after several months or a year of consistent practice, you will see substantial improvement. This is how mastery is built, not in sudden leaps, but in small, steady steps that add up over time. In addition, small habits often lead to the development of other positive habits. Once you establish one small habit, it becomes easier to incorporate additional habits into your routine. For example, if you start a habit of drinking a glass of water every morning, you might eventually find it easier to add a habit of eating a healthy breakfast or exercising for 10 minutes. These small wins create a positive feedback loop that encourages further growth. One good habit often leads to another, and before you know it, your entire lifestyle has shifted in a more positive direction, all because you started with something small. The key to making small daily habits successful is to be intentional about what you choose to focus on. Not all habits are created equal, and not all habits will have the same long-term impact. It's important to choose habits that align with your larger goals and values. When you focus on habits that truly matter, even the smallest of actions can have a profound impact over time. For example, if your goal is to improve your mental health, something as simple as practicing gratitude for 5 minutes each day or journaling before bed can significantly improve your mindset and overall well-being. If your goal is to advance in your career, spending just 15 minutes each day learning something new or networking with others can lead to major career growth over time. Small daily habits also teach patience and resilience. The results don't come immediately, and that's where many people falter. But when you stick with your habits and trust the process, you learn to appreciate the journey rather than obsess over instant results. This patience is a critical skill because success, whether in personal growth, career, health, or relationships, rarely happens overnight. It's the cumulative effect of showing up every day and doing the small things that eventually leads to breakthroughs and big wins. In the process of developing small habits, you also become more self-aware. As you repeat these actions daily, you start to notice patterns in your behavior, emotions, and thoughts. This self-awareness helps you fine-tune your habits and routines, making them more effective and aligned with your goals. For example, if you notice that you're more productive in the mornings, you might adjust your habits to capitalize on that energy. If you notice that certain activities drain you, you can shift your routine to focus on habits that energize and empower you. This ongoing process of reflection and adjustment is key to long-term success. Small daily habits are also incredibly flexible, which makes them ideal for adapting to different phases of life. Unlike rigid plans or drastic changes, small habits can be adjusted to fit your circumstances. If you're having a busy or challenging day, you can still stick to your habits, even if they are scaled down. This flexibility allows you to maintain momentum, even when life gets tough. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. As long as you're taking small steps in the right direction, you're still moving forward. Overcoming resistance is one of the most challenging yet crucial aspects of personal growth and achieving long-term success. Resistance is that internal force that whispers in your ear to procrastinate, to put things off, to take the easier road, or to give up when things get tough. It manifests in so many ways, whether it's fear, self-doubt, perfectionism, or the lure of immediate comfort over delayed gratification. Learning to overcome this resistance is about understanding that it is a natural part of any growth process. Resistance often appears when you are on the verge of doing something important, something that has the potential to change your life for the better. The key is recognizing it for what it is, a signpost that you're moving in the right direction. It's often said that the greater the resistance, the more meaningful the work you're doing. When you commit to a new goal or habit, it's almost guaranteed that resistance will show up. It could take the form of that voice inside your head that says, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm too tired to do this today." This is the battle between your present self, which is accustomed to comfort and routine, and your future self, who seeks growth, improvement, and achievement. Overcoming resistance means choosing the future self, despite the discomfort that comes with change. Resistance is a defense mechanism, your brain's way of trying to protect you from perceived threats, whether those are physical or emotional. Change, even positive change, can feel like a threat because it disrupts the status quo. But understanding that resistance is often a signal of growth allows you to reframe it not as something to fear, but as something to lean into. One of the ways resistance shows up is through perfectionism. This is the belief that if something can't be done perfectly, it shouldn't be done at all. Perfectionism is paralyzing because it sets an unattainable standard that no one can meet. It's a subtle form of resistance because it disguises itself as a high standard, but in reality, it's a form of self-sabotage. The key to overcoming this is to focus on progress over perfection. Small, imperfect steps taken consistently are far more powerful than waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect execution. The pursuit of perfection is often just a way to avoid the vulnerability that comes with putting yourself out there, trying new things, and risking failure. By accepting that imperfection is part of the process, you dismantle one of the most insidious forms of resistance. Another form of resistance is procrastination. It's so easy to put off the things that are important, especially when they seem difficult or when the results aren't immediately visible. Procrastination gives you a temporary sense of relief because it allows you to avoid discomfort in the moment. But the long-term consequence is that it keeps you stuck in a cycle of inaction, robbing you of progress and keeping you from reaching your potential. The first step to overcoming procrastination is to break tasks down into smaller, more manageable parts. Often, the idea of a big project or goal feels overwhelming, and this fuels procrastination. But by focusing on one small step at a time, you reduce the psychological burden and make it easier to take action. You may not feel like doing something, but once you start, momentum kicks in and it becomes easier to keep going. Action, even in small doses, is the antidote to procrastination. Fear is another significant source of resistance. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, it can all hold you back from pursuing the things that matter most to you. Overcoming fear requires acknowledging it without letting it control your decisions. Fear is not something you can eliminate, but it is something you can learn to manage. Often, what we fear is not as bad as we imagine it to be. The key is to take action in spite of the fear, to move forward even when you're uncertain or scared. Every time you do this, you build courage. And with that courage comes the strength to push through even greater resistance in the future. It's about learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens. By facing your fears head on, you start to see them for what they really are: temporary obstacles that can be overcome. Self-doubt is another form of resistance that can keep you stuck. It's that voice inside your head that questions whether you're good enough, whether you're capable, whether you're deserving of success. Self-doubt can be crippling if you allow it to dictate your actions. But overcoming self-doubt isn't about getting rid of it entirely, it's about learning to move forward in spite of it. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready, it comes from taking action, even when you don't feel ready, and building confidence over time. The more you push through self-doubt and take steps toward your goals, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. Every small victory, no matter how minor it seems, chips away at that doubt and builds the confidence you need to keep going. One of the most effective ways to overcome resistance is to build routines and systems that support your goals. When you rely solely on willpower or motivation, you're setting yourself up for inconsistency. Willpower is a limited resource and motivation can be fleeting. But when you have routines in place, you create an environment that makes it easier to do the things that matter, even when you don't feel like it. For example, if you're trying to build a habit of exercising regularly, setting out your workout clothes the night before, and scheduling your workouts at the same time, each day creates a system that reduces the friction of getting started. Over time, these routines become automatic, and the resistance you once felt diminishes because you've built a structure that makes it easier to take action. Another strategy for overcoming resistance is to practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Resistance often thrives in the background of your mind, operating on autopilot without you even realizing it. By practicing mindfulness, you bring awareness to the thoughts and feelings that trigger resistance. You begin to recognize the patterns that cause you to avoid tasks, give in to distractions, or fall back into old habits. This awareness is powerful because it allows you to intervene and make conscious choices rather than being controlled by unconscious resistance. Mindfulness helps you stay present in the moment and focus on the task at hand, rather than getting lost in worry about the future or regret about the past. It's about taking control of your attention and directing it toward the things that truly matter. Accountability is another powerful tool in overcoming resistance. When you share your goals with others or enlist the help of a mentor, coach, or accountability partner, you add an extra layer of motivation to follow through on your commitments. Knowing that someone else is counting on you or will check in with you can be a powerful motivator to push through resistance, even when you don't feel like it. Accountability creates external pressure that can help you stay on track when your internal motivation wavers. It also provides a source of support and encouragement, which can be invaluable when you're facing challenges or setbacks. Having someone in your corner who believes in you and holds you accountable can make all the difference in overcoming resistance and staying consistent with your efforts. Finally, it's important to celebrate the small wins along the way. Overcoming resistance is not about waiting for the big victories or the final destination. It's about acknowledging the progress you make each day, no matter how small. Each time you push through resistance, take a moment to recognize and celebrate that achievement. This reinforces the positive behavior and helps build momentum for the future. The journey toward your goals will always have ups and downs, but by focusing on the small wins and celebrating your progress, you keep yourself motivated and committed to the process. Accountability matters because it acts as a bridge between intention and action. When we set goals for ourselves, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that sheer willpower alone will carry us through. But the reality is that willpower can wane, motivation fluctuates, and life often presents distractions that derail even our best laid plans. This is where accountability steps in. It provides a steady, external force that helps keep us on track when our internal resolve falters. Accountability is about being answerable to someone or something outside of yourself, whether it's a trusted friend, a mentor, a coach, or even a structured system. It's a reminder that there is someone or a group of people who are expecting you to show up, to stay committed, and to follow through on the promises you've made to yourself. The presence of accountability creates a level of responsibility that we often can't summon when we're only relying on our internal drive. There's a psychological shift that happens when we know someone else is paying attention to our progress. Suddenly, the task we might have put off becomes more urgent. The goal we might have delayed becomes more pressing. It's not just about avoiding embarrassment or guilt, although those can play a role. It's about the positive pressure that accountability provides. That pressure helps to minimize procrastination, break through resistance, and overcome the inertia that often accompanies the start of any challenging endeavor. Her accountability adds a layer of commitment that makes us more likely to push through obstacles even when we're tired, frustrated, or simply unmotivated. One of the reasons accountability works so effectively is that it introduces consistency into our routines. When someone is expecting you to report back, check in, or provide updates, it forces you to establish a rhythm. Whether it's a weekly meeting with a coach, a regular check-in with a friend, or even public accountability through social media or a blog, the act of consistently having to report progress helps solidify new habits and behaviors. In essence, accountability turns what could be sporadic effort into sustained action. Over time, this consistency compounds. What starts as small, incremental steps becomes significant progress because you're no longer relying solely on fleeting bursts of motivation. Instead, accountability helps you develop discipline, and discipline is the key to long-term success in any area of life. Accountability also has a way of illuminating blind spots. We all have areas where we struggle, habits that hold us back, or patterns of behavior that we may not even be fully aware of. A good accountability partner can provide valuable feedback and perspective, pointing out the areas where we might be slipping or where we need to put in more effort. Often others can see things in us that we can't see in ourselves, both strengths and weaknesses. By having someone hold us accountable, we benefit from their insights, which can help us course correct more quickly than we might have on our own. Whether it's a mentor who offers advice, a friend who gives honest feedback, or a coach who asks tough questions, accountability brings a level of awareness and reflection that is difficult to achieve in isolation. In addition to providing feedback and perspective, accountability also offers support and encouragement. Pursuing goals, especially big ones, can sometimes feel lonely or overwhelming. When you have someone holding you accountable, you're not doing it alone. That person becomes a source of motivation when you're feeling discouraged or exhausted. They can remind you of why you started in the first place, help you keep your eyes on the bigger picture, and offer words of encouragement when things get tough. This support system is invaluable because it helps sustain you through the inevitable challenges and setbacks that come with any meaningful pursuit. Knowing that someone believes in you, is cheering you on, and wants to see you succeed can be a powerful motivator, especially during the moments when self-doubt creeps in. The process of being held accountable also strengthens our integrity and character. It teaches us to be people of our word, to follow through on commitments, and to take responsibility for our actions. When we're accountable to someone else, we become more mindful of our decisions and more intentional with our time. We start to recognize that our actions or inaction have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for those who are supporting and rooting for us. This sense of responsibility can help us develop greater self-discipline and focus. It pushes us to act with greater purpose and clarity, knowing that we're being held to a higher standard. Accountability helps us become not just more productive, but also more reliable and trustworthy in all areas of life. Another important aspect of accountability is that it can help to eliminate excuses. When you're only accountable to yourself, it's easy to rationalize why you didn't follow through on a goal or why you didn't put in the effort you had originally planned. You can convince yourself that external circumstances got in the way, that you'll do better tomorrow, or that the timing wasn't right. But when you're accountable to someone else, those excuses don't hold the same weight. Accountability forces you to confront your actions or lack thereof head-on. It becomes much harder to justify procrastination, laziness, or half-hearted effort when you have to explain those behaviors to someone who is invested in your success. In this way, accountability helps you break free from the cycle of excuses and fosters a mindset of responsibility and ownership. Moreover, accountability helps to build momentum. When you know you have to check in regularly with someone, it encourages you to keep taking action, no matter how small. Each step forward, no matter how incremental, builds on the last, creating a sense of progress and achievement. Over time, this momentum grows, making it easier to keep moving forward. The positive reinforcement that comes from knowing you're consistently showing up and making progress can be incredibly motivating. And as you continue to build momentum, you start to see the results of your efforts, which in turn makes it easier to stay committed to your goals. Accountability creates a cycle of action, progress, and motivation that helps propel you toward success. Finally, accountability fosters a sense of community and connection. Whether you're working toward a personal goal or a professional one, having an accountability partner or being part of an accountability group creates a shared experience. It allows you to connect with others who are on a similar journey, who understand the challenges and victories that come with pursuing goals. This sense of connection can be incredibly uplifting and motivating. It reminds you that you're not alone in your efforts and that others are also striving for growth and improvement. In many ways, accountability is about building a support network, one that Not only helps you stay on track, but also celebrates your successes with you. Embracing imperfection is one of the most liberating and empowering things we can do in our journey toward personal growth and self-improvement. Society often places a heavy emphasis on the idea of perfection, perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect relationships, and this can create a sense of inadequacy, as if anything less than flawless isn't good enough. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion, a moving target that no one can truly hit. It's a standard that doesn't exist in reality, and chasing it often leads to frustration, burnout, and a sense of never being good enough. When we embrace imperfection, we release ourselves from the constant pressure to be something that we're not, and we allow ourselves the freedom to be authentic, vulnerable, and human. The beauty of imperfection is that it creates space for growth. When we stop striving for perfection, we can begin to appreciate the journey rather than obsess over the destination. We realize that it's in our mistakes, our flaws, and our setbacks that the most valuable lessons are learned. Each misstep becomes an opportunity to reflect, adjust, and improve. Rather than viewing failure as something to be avoided at all costs, we begin to see it as a necessary part of progress. It's in the cracks and the rough edges that we find our resilience and strength, and it's through those experiences that we develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Embracing imperfection means accepting that growth is messy, non-linear, and full of challenges, but it's also full of possibility. Imperfection is also a key component of authenticity. When we allow ourselves to be imperfect, we give ourselves permission to show up as we truly are, rather than trying to present a curated, idealized version of ourselves to the world. Authenticity is about being honest with ourselves and others, and that means owning our flaws, insecurities, and mistakes. It's about letting go of the fear of judgment and realizing that our worth isn't tied to being flawless, but rather to being real. In a world that often values image over substance, authenticity stands out. It creates deeper, more meaningful connections with others because people can sense when you're being genuine. When we embrace our imperfections, we invite others to do the same, creating an environment of acceptance and compassion rather than competition and comparison. Perfectionism, on the other hand, can be paralyzing. It creates a fear of failure that can stop us from taking risks, trying new things, or stepping outside of our comfort zones. When we believe that we have to do everything perfectly, we often end up doing nothing at all, because the fear of not measuring up keeps us from even starting. Embracing imperfection, however, gives us the courage to take action, even when we're unsure or unprepared. It reminds us that progress, not perfection, is the goal. The more we're willing to take imperfect action, the more we open ourselves up to opportunities for learning, growth, and success. Imperfection is a natural part of the process. And it's through that process that we become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Another important aspect of embracing imperfection is self-compassion. Too often, we are our own harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossibly high standards that we wouldn't expect of anyone else. We beat ourselves up for making mistakes, for falling short, or for not being perfect. But when we embrace imperfection, we cultivate a sense of kindness and compassion toward ourselves. We learn to treat ourselves with the same grace and understanding that we would offer a friend. This doesn't mean that we stop striving for improvement or that we become complacent. It simply means that we recognize our inherent worth, even in our imperfections. Self-compassion allows us to bounce back from setbacks more quickly because we're not wasting energy on self-criticism or shame. Instead, we can focus on learning from our experiences and moving forward with greater resilience. Embracing imperfection also fosters creativity and innovation. When we're no longer bound by the need to be perfect, we give ourselves permission to think outside the box, take risks, and experiment with new ideas. Creativity thrives in an environment where failure is not only accepted but encouraged. Some of the greatest innovations in history have come from people who were willing to make mistakes, take chances, and embrace the unknown. Perfectionism stifles creativity because it's rooted in fear of being judged, fear of making a mistake, fear of not being good enough. But when we let go of that fear and embrace imperfection, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and discoveries that we might never have encountered if we had been too focused on doing everything right. Imperfection invites curiosity, exploration, and growth. In relationships, embracing imperfection allows us to connect with others on a deeper level. When we let go of the need to appear perfect, we create space for vulnerability, which is the foundation of true intimacy. It's through our imperfections that we relate to one another, that we find common ground, and that we build trust. No one is perfect, and when we try to present ourselves as such, we put up walls that prevent genuine connection. Embracing imperfection means showing up fully as we are, with all of our quirks, flaws, and insecurities. It means being willing to be seen for who we truly are, rather than who we think we should be. In doing so, we invite others to do the same, creating a more authentic, supportive, and loving dynamic in our relationships. In the workplace, embracing imperfection can lead to greater innovation, collaboration, and productivity. When team members feel the pressure to be perfect, they may be less likely to share ideas, take risks, or ask for help. This creates an environment of fear and competition where mistakes are seen as failures rather than opportunities for growth. However, when leaders encourage a culture that embraces imperfection, they create a space where team members feel safe to experiment, learn, and collaborate. This not only fosters creativity, but also leads to higher levels of engagement and job satisfaction. When people feel that they are allowed to be imperfect, they are more likely to take ownership of their work, contribute innovative ideas, and support one another in achieving shared goals. Embracing imperfection also allows us to live more fully in the present moment. When we're constantly striving for perfection, we're often focused on the future, on achieving some ideal version of ourselves or our lives that may never come. This prevents us from fully appreciating the here and now, from recognizing the beauty in the present moment, and from being grateful for what we already have. Imperfection reminds us that life is not about reaching some unattainable standard of success or happiness, but about embracing the journey with all of its ups and downs. It's about finding joy in the process, even when things don't go according to plan. When we let go of perfection, we open ourselves up to the richness of life as it is, rather than constantly wishing it were something else. Consistency is the key to success because it serves as the foundation upon which lasting achievements are built. In every aspect of life, whether it's personal development, career growth, or even relationships, consistency is the one thread that ties everything together. Without it, even the most talented individuals find it hard to reach their full potential. Consistency requires showing up regularly, committing to the process, and doing the work even when motivation wavers or progress feels slow. It's not about grand gestures or sporadic efforts. It's about the accumulation of small, deliberate actions taken day in and day out that eventually lead to monumental results. The most successful people aren't necessarily those with the greatest natural abilities or talents, but those who have learned the art of being consistent. They understand that mastery comes from practice and repetition. Even the best athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs didn't get to where they are overnight. They put in hours, days, and years of consistent effort, improving incrementally until they achieved greatness. Consistency allows you to hone your skills over time, learning from mistakes, building new habits, and creating momentum that propels you forward. The more consistent you are, the more progress you make, and that progress compounds in ways that often go unnoticed in the short term, but yield tremendous results over time. Consistency also breeds discipline. In life, motivation is fleeting. It's easy to feel inspired to start something new when you're excited or energized, but that feeling doesn't last forever, and it's during those times of low motivation that consistency is most important. When you make a habit of being consistent, you train your mind and body to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. It's easy to take action when everything feels right, but the true test of success is your ability to keep going when things are tough, when obstacles arise, or when progress seems slow. Consistency turns discipline into a muscle that gets stronger with each use, and eventually you no longer need to rely on fleeting motivation to make progress. You just keep moving forward because it's part of who you are. Another reason consistency is so vital is that it creates trust, both in yourself and in the eyes of others. When you're consistent, you build a reputation for reliability and dependability. People know they can count on you because you show up regularly and do what you say you will. This is critical in both personal and professional relationships. Trust is earned over time through repeated actions that demonstrate your commitment and integrity. In business, consistency in delivering high-quality work or meeting deadlines can lead to greater opportunities, promotions, and long-term success. In relationships, consistency in your actions, words, and behavior builds a foundation of trust that strengthens connections and deepens bonds. Consistency also plays a critical role in building habits. Any new goal, whether it's related to health, fitness, learning, or productivity requires the formation of new habits. Habits are formed through repetition, and the more consistent you are in your efforts, the quicker those habits become ingrained. Once a habit is formed, it becomes second nature, and you no longer have to rely on willpower or constant effort to maintain it. This is the power of consistency. It makes difficult tasks easier over time by transforming them into habits that are automatic. Whether it's exercising regularly, eating healthier, or learning a new skill, the key to making lasting changes is consistency. Moreover, consistency helps you overcome challenges and setbacks. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and no matter how well you plan, there will always be obstacles in your path. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is often the ability to stay consistent in the face of adversity. When things get tough, it's tempting to give up or take a break, but consistency teaches you to push through those moments. It reminds you that setbacks are temporary and that progress is still being made, even if it's not immediately visible. Consistent effort, even during hard times, ensures that you stay on track and continue moving toward your goals, even if the pace slows down. Inconsistency also creates momentum. The more consistent you are, the more momentum you build, and once that momentum is in place, it becomes easier to keep going. Think of it like pushing a boulder uphill. At first, it takes a tremendous amount of effort just to get it moving, but once it starts rolling, it requires less force to keep it going. This is how consistency works in life. The beginning of any new journey or goal is often the hardest part because you're building from the ground up. But once you've established a rhythm and started to make progress, each new action builds upon the last, creating a sense of forward motion that carries you closer to your goals with less resistance. One of the most valuable aspects of consistency is that it leads to mastery. Whether you're learning a new skill, improving in your career, or working on personal development, mastery doesn't happen overnight. It comes from putting in the hours, practicing regularly, and refining your approach over time. Every time you engage in a task consistently, you get better at it. You learn what works and what doesn't. You start to see patterns and insights that weren't clear at the beginning. Over time, these small improvements add up, and before you know it, you've achieved a level of expertise that wouldn't have been possible without consistent effort. Mastery isn't about talent, it's about persistence and the willingness to show up again and again, even when it's hard. Finally, consistency provides a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. When you stay consistent with your efforts, you can look back over time and see the progress you've made. This sense of accomplishment fuels your self-esteem and reinforces your belief in your own abilities. It shows you that you are capable of achieving your goals, no matter how big or small, as long as you remain committed and consistent in your actions.